There's something about something new that's almost irresistible. About the idea that the old is going to be past and in with the new. Sometimes we need to say good riddance to the things of the past. Just say, let it go. For that to happen, there must be something that takes place on our part. There's a letting go of our anger, perhaps saying farewell to bitterness that we may have crept in somewhere in the past year, and turning from malice toward others, those who have hurt us deeply. You know, as long as we live in the past, we are virtually chained to the past. And those who have caused us difficulty win a double victory. They initially hurt us, and twice when we refuse to let it go. Might I suggest as we begin this new year, a mental shredder, if you will. We're acquainted with those shredders that we can have the papers and just put them in and shred them away. Symbolizing the act of letting go of painful memories, bad experiences, foolish mistakes, bad relationships, even dumb choices, and yes, long-held grudges. They have been growing inside of us during the past years. They've been gunking up our process physically and mentally and spiritually. You know, we make our decisions. And this morning, our decisions also make us. We and our lives are nothing more than the decisions that we each make. But everyone can start, and I love that, don't you? I love that everyone can start and have a new beginning. Nothing is more important than for us to realize that. If this day is just another day, if this day is just a ritual, then how should we get from the past to the future? It's rather difficult to go to the future when you're dragging so much heavy with you that's of the past. So many times, 1 week into the new year, those things that we wanted to be different, somehow they aren't. The trouble with turning over a new leaf is once you turn it over twice, you got the same side again, so you just start all over again. January, with its origin, being the goddess that could have two faces, one looking backward and one looking forward. That's what the word Janus means. As we do that, brings our focus back to the need for us to focus forward. To make 4 basic new commitments with me, will you not, that can lead us to a better life. Number 1, commit yourself to forget your failures. 2,000 years ago, the Apostle Paul to the Philippians gave this advice. Forgetting what is behind and looking forward to what lies ahead, I press on. All of us have failed in some way over the last year, have we not? Hopefully, we won't see our failures as we're reminded every day when we see the TV out there on YouTube or on TV, the failures that we have, that will sort of be private. But they are recorded in our hearts and in our mind nevertheless. The new year is a good time as we begin January to stop being chained to past failures. So whatever has happened in each one of our lives, it's a good time to forget our failures as we begin to go ahead. The second thing is commit yourself to give up your grudges. Paul said again from the scriptures to the Colossians, bear with one another and forgive each other whatever grievances you may have. A grudge is an unforgiving spirit. Unfortunately, that leads to unforgiving attitudes and unforgiving actions. So commit yourself to God and forget your failures as we go through this year. Commit yourself to give up your grudges. And commit yourselves, I would urge you to restore your relationships, as Romans says, if it's possible, as far as it depends on you. Live peace with everyone. I like that. Some relationships may have gone wrong in your life in the past year because what other people have done. And they might not want that relationship restored. God recognized that. That's why he said, if it's possible, do this. Sometimes it's not possible. We just do the best we can. So let's forget our past errors in relationships and our broken bonds. First, let's commit ourselves to forget our failures, to give up our grudges, to restore relationships. And then I would urge you to commit yourselves to turn your backs on your transgressions. The letter to the Hebrews counsels the following. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily doth beset us, and run with patience the race that is set before us. Besetting sins are sins that are there that we just run up to time and time again and can't seem to get past them. Perhaps we're crippled because we have practiced it so long. So I dare not stand before you as a congregation and think that you would be different than anyone else or from me. That we have things that we do in our lives that have crippled us, that hinder us from doing and being what we ought to be. We've just gotten used to it. We've learned to live with it. So these 4 basic commitments. Commit yourself to forget your failures, to give up your grudges, to restore relationships where possible, and you commit yourself to turn from transgressions. Determined to so live, let me urge each of you that your life will be so written that others will read of and observe, and that others will be encouraged to say, let me be a little kinder. Let me be a little blinder. To the faults of those about me, let me praise a little more. Let me be, when I am weary, just a little bit more cheery. Let me serve a little better those that I'm striving for. Let me be a little braver when temptation bids me waver. Let me strive a little harder to be all that I should be. Let me be a little meeker with my brother who is weaker. Let me think a little more of my neighbor and a little less of me. He came to my desk with a quivering lip. The lesson was done. Dear teacher, he said, I want a new sheet. He said, I've spoiled this one. And I took the old sheet, stained and blotted, and gave him a new one, all unspotted. And into his dear eyes I smiled and said, do better now, my child. I come with a trembling heart. The year has gone. Dear Father, have you a new leaf for me? I've spoiled this one. God will take my old years stained and blotted and give me a new leaf all unspotted. And to our sad eyes reply, do better now, my child.
sorrow flow from the languid brow of Jesus dying, and tears from heaven's eyes are the anguished drops of a father crying. Oh, why?
This must be a cross of love for God to bruise His only Son. Jesus, what a sacrifice to reach us. Had to be a cross of love.
Emblem of His pain, oh, splintered
For they knew not who
wound
He
of
was,
my
or
transgression.
why He came.
I'll
Some had come to
never
offer help, soothe the mother's
comprehend
pain.
of an act so
As He washed her
great,
wounded
gave
son,
love
comfort never
expression.
came.
Oh, why?
This must be a cross of love for God to bruise His only Son. Jesus, what a sacrifice to reach us. It had to be a cross of love.
This must be a cross of love for God to bruise His only Son. Jesus, what a sacrifice to reach us. It had to be